Hey, I'm Sarah from Extraordinary Chaos, and today I'm going to unbox the xTool M1 cutting machine. Now this is a hybrid cutting machine, so I currently have a Cricut and a Glowforge, so this is a hybrid of both of them. It has a laser cutter, laser engraver and a blade. So this will be really good to see how this combines my two favourite machines, what the cutting results are. But one thing notably before it's even out of the box is it's a lot lighter than my CO2 cutting machine. That's a really heavy. I managed to get this up the stairs by myself, and I think it's going to take up a lot less space. Okay, so let's open the box. Here we go. So first impressions is it's really compact. So we're going to open it up. Oh, you've got your machine, filter so that you can filter to outside. If you're going to laser cut, you have to have it by a window. Some materials to try it out on. These are prisms. So from what I've read so far, the prisms are for sitting your laser projects onto so that there's no charring. So we'll have a go at that. And two mats. You've got a light grip and a fabric grip mat as well. So let's get it plugged in and let's have a go. To start with, we're going to get ready and get it all connected up to my Mac. There's a QR code, so I'm going to scan the QR code and get cracking with the getting started video. So it's really simple. I just airdropped it from my phone, and we're going to go in and download the software and work through the quick start guide. But before we do, we're going to connect this hose to the back of the machine, so that is going to vent out of the window. These little clips will clamp your hose onto the back of the machine. You position it near the window and it vents out, and that's really important. Now going back to the desktop, you need to connect it with a USB for the first time. I've got a Mac, so what that means is that I needed to have the USB-C port. So but plug it in and it connects. It's really quick and easy. So now it's going to do a bit of a software upload, and now you can see your desktop. Now open the lid and pop your prisms in, so just line them up like that, and this is going to keep the air flowing around your wood, so it guarantees a better cut and less charring. So there you go, just pop the wood on top of that and then you can close your lid. The beauty of this machine is that you can see the interface inside the machine. So if you look at this, the basswood is in the machine and I can see that on my desktop. So this is my first test cut. I'm so sorry you can't see the full sidebar, but I'm going to set it on a 3mm thickness and it's 3mm basswood. So just like in Design Space, it's really great that you can drag your image around. I'm going to raise the height because I'm setting it on my triangular prism, so you need to tell the machine you're doing that, and that will allow the airflow. So it's now going to estimate the time, and it's going to estimate it at less than a minute. So I'm going to click frame in, and then it will allow me to send my project to my device and press go. And the actual amount of time it took, as you can see, it's now counting up. So it was just less than 2 minutes. So more than predicted, but still not a bad speed. And here is the view from inside the machine. So it's cutting this wood really well. So this is basswood. Some basswood it doesn't cut. It's got to be dry. It's got to be not buckled. But I've had some really great results. You've just got to use the right wood. And you can see there it's gone around and it's cut it with ease. So I'm going to open the lid and get the project out. Okay, so I'm going to lift the lid and take it out. So I just need to push it through to pop it out. It's stuck a bit on one corner, but I was just able to peel that off. But this isn't the wood that I would usually use with it. I bought more that I got a better result with. And now I'm going to try it on the basswood that came with my machine, and you can see the difference. The result is excellent. Really clean and cut, and those bits there, they just popped through. So you can see the difference of using a really good basswood. We're now going to have a go at cutting vinyl, and these mats are brilliant. So what I'm going to do first is attach my vinyl to the top of the mat like I would normally. You can see the mats are bigger than a standard 12 by 12 mat, so it gives you a bit more cutting size. However, with smart materials, you get that anyway. So now I'm going to pop the blades into the machine. Now, once I've put them in, they stay there. So the only time you need to take it out is if you're changing the blades. So you just press that button for the housing and you can see that it just pops in and out. So I'm just going to flip it over and pop it in. And then my mat. The mat is sticky on the back, so it sticks to the base. Obviously your base has got to be clean, but that's brilliant. So now I'm going to upload my leaf to the design area and set it as PU heat transfer vinyl. And I'm going to just alter the cut pressure a little bit. I think you've just got to play about with this with different materials, but that's getting to know your machine. So it's telling me it's going to cut in less than a minute. I think it took a little bit longer, but it wasn't that bad. It was maybe 2 minutes. It's not as quick as the Cricut machine, but look, it does cut through really well. So I'm going to take the mat out, but I just wanted to show you while it's in the machine. And here we are. So I've got it off the mat. It has gone through some of the backing paper, but again, I've just got to change the cut pressure on that. And I think that's just a matter of playing with it and getting to know the machine. But look, the fact is it's cut beautifully. It's gone right through. And as I peel it away, you can see that my image is clear, crisp, and there's no snags. So it does cut vinyl really, really well. I like the way it's cut this. So now for me is the big test, because the biggest part of my business is cardstock. That is what I cut every single day. So I'm going to look for the setting for cardstock, and I can only find the brown, is it brown paper bag or brown craft paper. So you can see there, you've got all these other things you can cut, but you've only got one paper setting or card setting. I've searched it, not there. So I'm going to go with the brown craft paper, but you've got to remember that you've got the cut pressure and speed settings so you can change them. I actually didn't need to, but they're there as an option so you can mess about. It's telling me it's going to take less than a minute to cut my leaf. I'm going to put it on my mat. I love these mats. I mean, all right, it's like any other cutting mat. It's a bit bigger. I like the fact I can just plonk it where I want because of the camera in the screen. So yep, you can do this with other programs. You can do it with Design Space. You can definitely do it with Glowforge. But I love the camera inside. I think that makes a real difference. So I'm going to pop the lid down, and there is the result. So it took under 2 minutes. So the speed was great. And I'm now just going to reverse weed it. A bit more trickier actually with a bigger mat. So I'll take the excess off first, and then I'm going to remove the leaf. And there you go. It's cut really well. And that leaf turned out great, but I wanted to test it. So I've put in 4 A, B, C and D letters of my Christmas pudding alphabet, which is free to download on my website. So this is a tricky cut, it's quite intricate. So I've taken it out. It looks good so far. I'm going to put the backing back on the mat. So this is the back that sticks into the machine. And now I'm going to start to weed it. Now this is a really intricate cut. You can see that it's coming away beautifully, but the mat is super sticky, so it's going to take me a while to get it off the mat. So I'll flip it over, but it took half an hour, just under half an hour to cut. So it did take a while, but the beauty with cutting with a knife, with a blade, is that you can leave your machine. So I just set it to go and went off to work. My Cricut would have been quicker, but do you know what? If you want a machine for multiple projects and speed isn't super important to you, then this is such a great machine, because the results so far have been great. You've got to use the right wood, but apart from that, this is 220 GSM cardstock, and look at that cut, it's beautiful. And this is where the M1 really comes into its own, engraving. So I'm going to engrave this bamboo tray, and I'm going to make a Santa treat tray. I have worked on about, I don't know, 7 or 8 laser projects engraving since I've had this machine. I really wanted to test it out before I gave you my opinion, because there's no good just doing one project, is there? You've got to really put it through its paces. So my opinion is that it cuts card as good as, but not as quick. There's not as many settings. Laser cutting wood, I think the Glowforge has definitely got the edge. It's a lot quicker. It can do stuff in half, if not less than half the time. But if that's not your main thing, then it does a good job. It does cut well. You've just got to get the right materials. But where it's super amazing is engraving. So I've engraved lids, like stainless steel lids, dog tags, key rings. I've got some candles I'm going to do the lids on. It is an incredible engraving machine. So I've pulled in an SVG. This is a really big SVG that's designed for a long tray. So treats for Santa, I've got carrots on there, all sorts, just, you know, for Christmas Eve. And all I'm able to do, because it's an SVG, is pull it around, take bits that I don't need out, and position it on the tray. And because of the camera, I can put it where I need to put it. So now I'm going to select it all and I'm going to change it to an engraved setting. I'm going to look for bamboo. So the nearest I've got is bamboo plant label, not very thick. So I've done an alter thickness measurement so that the machine will measure for me, and it's set it at 9.1. Now I know this is right because it turned out perfect. It's saying it's going to take 50 minutes. It took 30, just under 30. And all you've got to do is set up near the machine and work near the machine, because when it's laser cutting and laser engraving, you can't leave it. And there you go, there's the result. It took under 30 minutes. I set myself up near and worked nearby, and I'm absolutely thrilled with the result. I've tried several projects and it hasn't let me down with engraving yet. And here is a dog tag I did. So I managed to get a whole address on the back of this as well. It was tiny and super clear. So impressed. And again, this was quick. Okay, so my thoughts on the M1. It's completely exceeded my expectations. For cutting laser in wood, it's fabulous. I mean, I started on a small, easy project. So I cut this Mickey and I also cut this aeroplane. And you saw what happened there with a bit of the wood sticking. But I bought some new wood and great results. I thought I'd show you everything I've cut. And I've not been disappointed at all. So you could actually engrave these as well, but I've just cut them. But I've really challenged it. I've tried all different levels of detail and it hasn't let me down at all. As with paper, so the cutting results have been excellent on a knife and on a laser. Speed a little slower, but as long as you can work nearby, it's not an issue. For the price, it's really good value to do all of those things and to cut vinyl as well. So cut quality, absolutely no arguments. Really pleased with the results. And then where, again, I'll say is it definitely excels is on the laser engraving. This is the treat tray that I made and I'm so thrilled with it. I've also made a hot chocolate tray. I've also engraved lids of jars and candles, and that works out really well. This is just from Home Bargains. I've also got some jars from TK Maxx. And as long as I think the lids are stainless steel, they're all right. But I don't even know what that is, but it worked. So I think that's the thing. It's having a go and seeing what works and what doesn't. And the tags. So I've also made some key rings. So I'll show one of those now. So you can see the results are excellent. The machine was easy to set up. I think once I've got over the fact that I needed to have a USB-C connector, but then that's like anything you connect to a Mac. You can't just wirelessly do it the first time. You've got to connect it, and then after that it will connect wirelessly. And now when I plug it in, it just connects and works. And the interface is very easy to use. I'll do a separate video on that, but it is very much like Design Space. So if you're used to using Design Space, it's easy, it's responsive, and I do really like it. One thing to mention is that it would engrave a PNG, but it won't cut it. So if you want to cut, then you need SVGs. For engraving, you're fine with PNGs, just in case you've got a file that's not working or not being recognised. I did that. Go back and check that you've definitely got the SVG version. I hope that's been useful. Any questions, pop it in comments, and I will try and do a bit of a deep dive on Design Space at some stage because it's easy to use, and the fact that you've got that camera that goes into the machine is brilliant. It's a feature that I absolutely love. So thank you. Thanks for watching, and I hope that's been of use.